to everybody over in YouTube land. Hello, YouTube family. How is it going? It's here, logging in here. I've got folks over on Facebook in my Zilicious group, and I am letting you all know to grab your finger cymbals because today we're going to be doing a short class that's going to show you some beautiful zill and dance pairings that are easier to do, are a little bit more intuitive. And my goal is to help you understand that your zilling does not have to be complex to be interesting. We're going to talk about like a few little zill rules. I don't have too many rules, but we're going to talk about my zill rules, and we're going to talk about what you can do to make your zilling as interesting as possible without breaking your brain, because it's challenging, right? It's challenging. So say hello in the chat, please, if you have a second, if you're able to say hello and let me know that I am coming through loud and clear. I just want to make sure that you all can hear me. All right, fantastic. So it looks like we're working. Wonderful. So let me know in the chat what you're up to this weekend. Also, let me know which finger cymbals you are going to be using today. I want to know. Today, I'm going to, let me show you what I'm using today. Hello there. Hello from Niagara Falls, Audrey. Fantastic. Oh man, I went to Niagara Falls several years ago and I loved it. I've been both sides, the US side and the Canadian side. Gosh, so gorgeous. Hello, hello. Oh my gosh, you all have such long names. Bala, Equestrian, and Barrel Baby Natural Birth Class. Hello, hello. Oh, fantastic. We have all these people here from the falls. I wish we had something beautiful like that here in Houston. We've got a lot of trees. No waterfalls. Today, I am using my Soroyan Arabesque Pros. Oh my goodness. So good. I'm usually really good at telling you exactly which Soroyans I have in my hand. These were actually a gift from a friend. They were her finger cymbals. She doesn't use them anymore. So she gifted them to me. And though I'm normally more of a brass finger cymbal player, I like the brass because of the tone, the color. I love the silver and the brass color-wise. The bronze is my favorite color, but I would say the brass is my favorite sound. And the silver usually is a little bit more high-pitched, but these zills, these are delicious. Oh, hello, Pat. Surprise, Arizona. I've been there before. I used to visit Chandler, Arizona quite regularly, and I danced at the Arizona Renaissance Festival with Domba for a couple of years. Good to see you. Glad that you are here. So we're going to do a little bit of a finger cymbal class here, but I'm also here to answer your zill questions. I got a question the other day from one of my students. She had a pair of larger finger cymbals that she had been playing for years. She wasn't sure what they were, but I said, show them to me. And I bet I can identify them. And I could tell that they were the Turquoise International tribal cymbals because I have those too. I have them all. And those are fairly heavy. They're heavier cymbals than some other cymbals of the same size. And so she was asking for recommendations for lighter sized cymbals. I'm a big fan of large zills. I don't necessarily want heavy zills, but I do like large zills, and larger zills tend to be a bit heavier. But if you are newer to zilling, or if you're finding that you're really fatiguing in your arms, or you're just not able to keep up with the speed of the playing, sometimes switching to a slightly lighter zill can be like building up your weights in the gym, right? You don't start with like the 50-pound curl, right? You've got to start lighter and build your way up. And I think of these as like teeny tiny weights on the ends of your fingers. And so I had actually recommended to her either the large Grecians from Soroyan are fantastic because they're large. They're approximately the same size as these, but they're much thinner. And so they're very lightweight. I bought them specifically because the first time I put them on, I was like, oh my gosh, these don't weigh anything. I could zill so quickly with these on. So those are great. She actually ended up purchasing the Preludes from Soroyan, which is like their intro level zill that is made to be like a really good price point. So they could like compete with Amazon, but give you like a better quality zill. And she loves them. They're fantastic. They're a little bit smaller. They're very lightweight, yet they have that good quality sound. So if you have any zill questions or recommendations, please post in the chat. Hello from the Netherlands. Good to see you there. I'm so glad that you're here. Hi, Darcy. Good to see you. Oh, Bobby, I love that you're tuning in from work. That's fantastic. You just have to air zill. Yeah, you just have to air zill if you're tuning in from work. Awesome. So let's go ahead and dive in then. If there aren't any questions, if any questions do come up as we're hanging out here, please let me know. Finger cymbals are kind of one of my most favorite things to geek out about. And I love that I can hang out with you here and we can speak the same geeky zill language. So let me know in the chat. Let me know which finger cymbals are your favorite. Yeah, what do you use the most often, or what are your favorite right now? My favorite kind of alternates depending on the season and my mood, but I think my most constant favorites some of you know this, my members know this because I talk about it all the time. I think my most constant favorites are probably the Saroyan Afghanis in brass. I love them. I love them. I have them in brass. I have them in silver. I do not have them in bronze. Might be time to get those, but I do love them in brass. So, but today I am playing these Saroyan Arabesque Pros. Shoot, I don't know. I'm gonna have to look it up. I'm sorry that I don't remember, but you can see the pattern and you can find it on their website if they still have it in stock. So fantastic. Let's go ahead and dive in. What I want to talk about today, and we're going to end up dancing and playing, so be ready, is that so many dancers get intimidated by the finger cymbals because it is a challenging concept, right? Making music with our fingers while our body is doing something different, right? It's hard. It's one of these like rub your belly, pat your head kind of thing. Or it reminds me a little bit of the first time I tried to drive a car. I was horrible because I had to I was driving an automatic, not even a manual, but I was like, I have to shift and then I have to press the brake and then I have to steer and I have to push the turn signal. It was bad, y'all. It was bad. Luckily, I drive better now. I don't know. I can ask my husband if he agrees with me on that one. But I think finger cymbals are a little bit the same way. It seems like a lot of stuff at first because you're coordinating the dancing and then you're coordinating like the finger cymbal movements, right? Like my friend Drake, he calls it the finger cymbal choreography, the finger choreography, right? You have a body choreography, a finger choreography. You're marking one tempo with your feet and another tempo with your zills. It's hard. It's a challenge, but anything worth doing in life, I think, is a challenge. So, let's go ahead and dive in because that growth is what keeps us young. It keeps our brain nimble and it keeps us happy, honestly. So don't not tackle a challenge because it's hard. Like that's the worst reason to not do something. So awesome. Darcy tuning in from work. Oh, you got a pair of Concert Masters in bronze. I have always debated using the Concert Masters. They're huge. Tell me, Darcy, are they heavy? Like I know they're one of the heaviest cymbals that I think that Saroyan produces, but they sound so good. I played them once and was like, ooh, these are serious. Let me know. Tamara, hello. Hi, Kevin. You use your Saroyans the most. Yes, absolutely. We are going to involve music today, Kevin. So it's not going to be a cappella. We will be using some fabulous Miss Thea today once we put our combo together. So grab your finger cymbals and let's talk about this. Let's talk about how can we make our finger cymbal playing creative and beautiful without making it overly complicated, right? I don't want anybody to feel overwhelmed by the zills, and I'll give you invitations to like level it up and make it your own and have fun with it depending on how you are feeling. If you feel like you have more bandwidth, this is what I talk about with my members all the time, that we have 100% bandwidth, right? When we're full here and we're just like thinking about everything. And depending on what you're doing, if zilling takes up a lot of bandwidth, i.e. you have to think about it a lot, we're going to have to keep the dancing fairly simple. Or if like you're doing something pretty simple with the zills that you know very well, you can get a little bit more complex with your dancing. So if you've ever watched any of my a cappella finger cymbal solos that are in my YouTube channel, there's a lot there. And you'll start to notice, now that I've let you in on a little secret, when I play the most complex things on my zills, I do almost nothing with my body. Like I'm literally like I'm zilling my heart out and I'm just like bopping with my body because I can't do anything else because I've reached like 100% bandwidth. Our goal today is not to work at 100% bandwidth. I want you to feel confident and comfortable, and I want to give you some pairings that will feel a little bit more intuitive. Most typically what we play on the zills is not what our body is doing, right? I'm going to go ahead and put on my zills so I can actually show you some patterns instead of just talk about it. If you think about the gallop, right, which we use all the time, and we'll use a little bit today. It's one of the most well-loved and overused patterns because it works really well, right? If you think about the gallop, and a 1 and a 2 and a 3 and a 4, we almost never do that with our body. We play that on our zills all the time. It's fantastic. It works great, but we almost never go, right? It's a little weird, right? Normally we're doing like, right? Our body is doing something totally different. And this is where it starts to feel a little crazy, right? So what if we start off today by thinking about taking these patterns and making them fit the movement a little bit more? And some of this is how we play it. And some of this is honestly going to be how we think about it. And I think this is going to be huge if we can kind of imagine how we think about it a little bit differently and hook into our body's natural rhythm of the movement we're doing. So before we turn on any music, and we'll do that in a second, I promise. What if we do a step touch? We'll just do a step touch. So you can do it in place, you can travel, you can do a hip lift, you can do a little glute squeeze, step touch, dancer's choice. So I could play a gallop over the top of this, but I'm not going to, but I am going to use the 3, right? I'm gonna use the gallop, but I'm gonna try to place it on the movement so it feels a little bit more natural. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna do every other, which makes it interesting, not more complex, but interesting. And then it's going to fit a little bit here. Da-ga-dum, da-ga-dum, da-ga-dum. And a 1, yeah? And a 2, and a 1. Give it a try, and a 2. Here we go. Move the arms. Last one here. Yeah, so what I'm thinking about is the last of that gallop, and a 1, the downbeat is when I step. Da-ga-doom, da-ga-doom, da-ga-doom. So while I'm not doing da-da-dum, da-da-dum, I'm not exactly matching the movement with my hips, I am tying into the rhythm with what my body is doing, right? So that step is happening on the and a 1, and a 2, and a 3. Right now, if I want to create a pattern that maybe even more further exploits the movement that I'm doing and really complements it, maybe if I do that little hip lift, maybe I'll put a little ring on it, right? I just thought about this. What if we do and a 1, right? So that's another option where it starts to feel, if you think about it the right way and connect with the movement you're doing, it actually is working with the dance, which the zills don't always do. But let's go ahead and, give ourselves a running start with this and let the zills really complement the dance. Yeah. Oh, good question, Darcy. You're asking, would the gallop not fit well with the 3/4 shimmy? It would fit well with a fast 3/4 shimmy. Absolutely. So if you were dancing to music that was going 1, 2, 3, 4, da-ga-dun, 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 da-ga-dun. Absolutely. Yeah. Then your zills and your body are doing the exact same thing. And so that could be a great place to start. Also, yeah, if you find that pairing the zills with the body feels really complicated, especially when you're first getting started, I invite you to think about the zills first as like an accent to what the body is doing, right? When we play the finger cymbals, we can play the finger cymbals to the rhythm of the actual music, what's being played in the music. Spoiler alert, this is the least typical way that I play my finger cymbals. We can play a complementary rhythm. Every time we play the gallop, it's a complementary pattern. Nobody's playing, the drummer never plays the gallop, right? We're playing it as a complementary pattern. We can play to the melody, which is one of my favorite ways to play, to actually like complement the melody with our finger cymbals. Or we can play to what our body is doing, which as dancers is going to be probably one of the most intuitive things for us to do. So you could imagine something like, what if we were doing right? Then it makes total sense. I'll do one more like that. Right? I'm literally creating the accents that I'm dancing to with my zills, or I was actually doing it the other way around. I was creating the movement first and decided to make the zills exactly what my move is doing, right? This is a really fun way to play. It's not how we typically play throughout an entire song, but this is a great way to start to build some comfort with the zills. And this is an awesome thing to use within your zill playing as well. So that's a really, really good point. Awesome. So let's come up with another little concept here. Let me see if there are any other questions. No. Okay. If you have any questions, just let me know. So let's do another option. So we were talking about the idea of, and the one, maybe with that optional ding, ding, right? So it's fitting more aptly on top of what we're doing. So it's a beautiful pairing. Yeah. Now let's do something smooth, right? So we had a more staccato, a more rhythmic movement with that step touch. And let's take this movement. So we could do something as simple as rings on the beat every time our hip comes up. Yeah. So this for me is like playing to what the body is doing. I'm letting my body dictate what the zills do. This is the most like, this is the easiest way, I think, to connect the two idea, right? But what if I want to get a little fancier with it, but I don't want to play the gallop? What if I just double time that? So instead of doing singles or quarter notes, what if I play eighth notes? 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and I'm going to play these as gentle rings, very light, gentle rings, right? Because I want to make this fit the quality of what's happening in my hips, right? So what if we do? Yeah, how did that feel? Right? It doesn't have to be complex. I think a lot of people come to me and they're like, well, I know the gallop and I know the melody and that's it. I'm like, that's great. Like you can do so much with that, so much with that. And my members know how we can take apart the gallop, we can lace it, we can take the melody, we can split it into two sections, and you can do so much with that, right? So you don't really need overly complex concepts. A lot of what you're going to be doing is just creating texture and nuance with the simple concepts that are there. Groupings of 3, groupings of 5, groupings of 7, the melody, right? All of that stuff is going to work really well. So let's go ahead and play with this with some music. Let me see if there's any questions. It looks like y'all are doing well. Let me know if there are any questions on these concepts. What I would like to do, yes, this is great. Yeah. The question is, can you improvise with the beat of the music? You totally can. You can totally just improvise with the beat of the music. And this is pretty much what I always do. But to get to a point where you're comfortable putting on a song, improvising your zills to the beat of the music and dancing at the same time, that's pretty high level zilling. So if you're able to do that, high five, that's awesome, right? Like that's where we all aspire to be. Like I can put on a song and I'm just going to make some stuff up and I'm going to dance. I'm going to belly dance while I'm doing it, right? That's where we want to go. But it's not like, it's not one step from figuring out how to play the gallop and walk to being able to do that. But absolutely, when I play, when the music comes on, I kind of find a groove to the music and then I just start making up stuff. It's usually a combination of 3s, 5s, 7s, melody. If I'm playing with a single tone, right? 3, 5, 7, melody. Oh, and true triplets, because I love those too. And then I focus a bit more on my dancing and the zilling just happens on top. But that's after 26 years of practicing. Yeah. So yes, if you can do that, totally do that. So let me put on some music and let's talk about like what I might do with this music. We are using the fabulous Miss Thea. As always, you can find her on Bandcamp at Miss Thea. It's Thea. And while I'm mentioning it, if you are a newer ziller and you're like, oh God, I'd like to play, but I don't even really like understand what's happening. Like maybe I don't have a pair of finger cymbals yet, or I don't know how to make the basic sound, or I can't keep a steady beat while walking. Please, please, please take 1 second now and go to sahirabellydances.com/zillstar, ZILLSTAR, and sign up for my free training. This is a great like basic level course that'll teach you to pick out the best finger cymbals for you, sew your elastics on, make the basic tone beautifully and cleanly, and start to actually move while playing. That's sahirabellydances.com/zillstar. So totally check that out. It's a great way to get started with a rock solid foundation for your finger cymbal practice. So this song by Miss Thea is called Glitchy Space. Let's listen. And actually, will you please let me know if you can hear this okay? Here it comes. I've got the setting where I think it should be, but I feel like it's a little bit of a moving target. Every time I log in, I'm like, I've got it all set up and then something will go wrong. So please let me know who will be the first to tell me if it's working. Oh, I love it. A well-preserved senior widow, but an ex-gymnast. That's fantastic. I love it. Do you use your gymnastics ability in your belly dancing? I love it. Improvising helps you cope. I think improvising is you get into a flow state, right? Where you're just like, you're in the music and you're making stuff happen and you have to be present constantly, like really mindfully present, which we are so often just living in the past or the future. And so I think improvisation puts us right in the present, which is so powerful. Yay, harp guy, you like this song? This is Miss Thea. Her stuff is great. She creates music for belly dance instructors and yoga instructors. Miss Thea on Bandcamp. So this is Glitchy Space. I've got it on repeat. Okay, so you can hear it okay. You can hear me okay. Awesome. So let's play with some of these ideas. So if we're thinking about, let's play our gallop And actually, let's start slower than that. Let's just do eighth notes. So we're thinking 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and let's do those inner dip rolls. Let's do one more set. Yeah, so that's good for a drill. If I were dancing to this music, that would be a little too heavy-handed for my personal taste for zilling. So what if we do 1 and 2 and 3 and 4? 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Yeah, what if we leave a pause in there? 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. With the inner dip roll. Yeah, sometimes making your zilling more interesting is doing less. I invite you to do less. You don't always have to do more. We do more all the time in life, don't we? Let's try doing a little bit less, yeah? Let's go back to our step touch, and we're doing our gallop, right? So we're thinking in a 1 and a 3, every other, right? Do a little less. And a 1 and a 3. So with our step touch. Take it back. Back to inner hip rolls. Gallop. Take it back. Inner hip rolls. Gallop again. If you want to change it up, feel free to do so. I'm going to change these inner hip rolls. I'm going to do singles. And then I'll do, now I'm going to do singles again. I'll do that again. I did 1, 2, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. And now we strike our pose because the music is over. Ta-da! Yes. Tell me, how did that feel? Or how do you imagine it will feel when you do it later when you're not at work? Right? Or if you're zilling in your desk chair or air zilling in your desk chair, you're my hero. Yeah. Uh-oh. Can some people not hear the music? No, let me know if you couldn't hear the music. Audrey, I'm not sure you couldn't hear the music, but Harp Guy loved the song. So we'll see. Hopefully people could hear it. And if not, it was an a cappella moment. So, all right. So let me know if you have any questions at all. I think the big concept I want you to walk away with, especially if you're a newer ziller, is that you don't have to know dozens of different rhythms, dozens of different patterns to be able to play well. And you don't even need to, don't tell anybody, but you don't even need to know like what the rhythm is in the song you're dancing to. Like, it's good to know that. I'm not saying don't learn it, but like, you don't have to know it. And I'm going to venture so far as to say, like, with some songs, when they come on, like maybe that's the quality of the recording or just the kind of drumming that's happening. I'm like, I can't even really tell. Like, it's like a cacophony of drums, or it's not very clear. And so I don't always know like what rhythm is being played in the music. And I don't worry about it. Shh. I think that it's okay. I say it's okay. It's good. Please learn about the rhythms. This is a fantastic thing. But so often with the cymbals, we are not trying to play what the rhythm in the drum is playing, right? They've got it covered. Let them cover it. And in fact, I've worked with a couple of drummers, and I've talked to many dancers who've worked with other drummers who are like, don't play when I'm playing. Like, why are you doing that? Like, I'm playing it. You don't have to play it. Like, it doesn't happen that often, so I don't want to say that that's a no, and drummers are going to tell you no, but I've been told no before. And so I certainly am not going to worry about trying to jump in and play whatever rhythm it is that the drummer is playing, because it's taken care of. So use it as an opportunity to be able to create other things on top of the rhythm that's happening, you know, playing to the melody, or maybe playing to what your body is doing. And you don't have to get complex, right? So you don't have to know a whole bunch of rhythms. And if you want to take what you already know, maybe you only know the gallop and the bellady because you're just starting out. take those rhythms and lace them. I learned this concept from a course I took years ago, and the concept is like take out parts of it. If you're playing the gallop, play every other. Play the first one and the last one, right? Play with it. You're playing the melody, play the first half, and then play a full melody, and then try playing the second half, right? It's going to make it sound so much more interesting than what I like to call lawnmower zilling, when you're just like, ta-ga-da, 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 ta-ga-da. It actually feels like machine gun zilling or something, right? Where you just lawnmower over the top of everything with the same pattern. That's maybe my least favorite kind of zilling, though any zilling I think is great. Like I'm always happy to hear someone zill, but when it's just like a single pattern over and over, it doesn't take into account the rich complexity of the music and what we're trying to become a part of the orchestration, right? So don't feel like you have to get complex. I invite you to let some air into your zilling, let some space and some silence, and then play with, if you're finding doing those complex patterns difficult on top of your dance, I invite you to just make it simple. It doesn't have to be complex, right? Match the dancing, see how that feels, and then you could grow from there. So thank you all so much for joining me today. I really appreciate that you were here, and let me know, how are you going to use this in your zilling? I hope that you have a chance this weekend, pick up your finger cymbals, and then also I have a finger cymbal class coming up on the 28th of this month if you want to do some more in-depth zilling with me a cappella, which means without music. We will be creating our own music, right? We will be the instrumentation that we dance to. So this is definitely more of an intermediate or advanced level zill class. I'll be giving it on Zoom on Saturday, February 28th. If you'd like to check out the details for that, it's sahirabellydances.com/zill workshop, ZILL workshop. And you can sign up for that. It's a 1-hour workshop, and it comes with 1 month of recording access. So even if you cannot make it to the class itself, you will get the recording access. So sahirabellydances.com/zill workshop. I would love for you to come and make music with me there, especially if you like some challenging and really fun a cappella zilling. Thank you all here on YouTube. Thank you for being here. Thank you to everybody in my Zilicious group on Facebook for being here. You are all such zill stars. It was wonderful to get to hang out with you. Have a beautiful day, a wonderful weekend, and I look forward to dancing with you all soon. Yeah, thanks, Audrey. Bye. Bye for now.